Alrighty, we are live. Gonna go ahead and we're gonna give it a minute. Give people a chance to go ahead and hop in here. Hope everyone's doing all right and everyone had an excellent week. I went fishing yesterday with Nick in Dallas, and that was quite fun. You guys should keep an eye out for that video Thursday. Quick reminder: we upload every we upload every Thursday at 7 p.m. and we go live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We do a variety of different topics every Monday. I'm going to be having some different guests on, hopefully. Been talking to a couple people, so keep an eye out for that. But for now, let's go ahead and get into it. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the 904 Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Alex. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's a little controversial in the fishing community, and that is catching, targeting, cooking, quote-unquote, trash fish. What does that mean? Well, there's a lot of fish that get bad raps for strong flavors or perceived lack of quality. Today we're going to kind of challenge that. We're going to break down the stereotype. There's no such thing as trash fish. If you ask me, it's all about how you prepare them, how you cook them, especially how you clean them whenever you do catch them. I mean, I've had my fair share of catches when it comes to bluefish, gaff top sail catfish, hardhead catfish, jack crevalles, ladyfish, ribbonfish, all kinds of fish like that. And everyone tells me that those are the trash fish. No one wants those. No one wants to eat those. Those are the fish you just throw back. Those are the fish you use for bait. But in my experience, all those fish are very tasty, especially when you cook them creatively and whenever you give them the appropriate respect in the kitchen. So, yeah. In this episode, we're going to go ahead and debunk all those myths, share some incredible insights and recipes to them, and hopefully inspire you to cast your line in a whole new direction, target species you never would have thought that was, viable previously. So yeah, stick around. Today's episode is going to be controversial, and it just might change the way you think. Nick's already in here. He says, people that say trash fish don't understand not everyone can catch bonita and tuna offshore. Exactly. Which... actually, I know a surprising amount of people that would consider bonita to be a trash fish or a bait. They would consider bonita to be bait. But we digress. So, we're going to break down, first off, what would be considered a trash fish. Typically, trash fish are fish that anglers say have a very high oil content in them, so that they're not very tasty to eat, or their bloodline is very strong, so that if you don't bleed them, you taste that blood, tastes very fishy. A lot of people don't like that fishy taste. Or it could just be something as simple as a hard-headed catfish or a gaff top sail catfish, where there's really nothing wrong with them. They just don't like cleaning them, so they don't eat them, and then they say they're trash fish. So I don't really understand why certain fish get the reputation they do. Everyone wants, the prize species. Redfish, spotted sea trout, flounder, snook, sheep's head, stuff like that. People say that those are some of the best eating, but I would be very surprised that if I gave someone a piece of black and redfish and I gave someone a piece of black and bluefish, that they would be able to tell the difference. Redfish are one of those fish that in my opinion, you either grill it or blacken it, just like I do with bluefish. Very little difference between the two, in my opinion. Again, I know that is controversial, but that is just my opinion. So, a lot of it comes down to how you prepare the fish and how you clean the fish. Flounder. Yeah, Nick says flounder and trout are the best. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. They're very clean, they're very light, they're very flaky. You're not going to get that, from a gaff top sail catfish or a hardhead catfish. It's just, you're not going to get that. But that's trout and flounder. That's totally different. People need to eat more shark steaks. I agree with that, Nick. Shark steak is absolutely delicious. I think shark steak are one of those ones that if you do catch a shark and it's within, regulations, you might consider harvesting it. Very tasty. You get a lot of yield and meat from it. So I have personally, I mean, like I said before, I've caught bluefish, I've caught hardhead catfish, I've caught ladyfish, I've caught all these fish that people say are, poor to eat, and I've prepared them and I've cooked them. And the only one I've not really enjoyed was the ladyfish. And that wasn't anything wrong with the fish. It was just, we made fish cakes out of them. And I'm not a huge fan of like fish cakes, crab cakes, stuff like that. But it didn't taste bad. It wasn't my thing. That's just how I'm looking at it. But when it comes to bluefish, Jack Crevalle, that's a big one. Bluefish and Jack Crevalle are probably my two fish that I love catching because they are so tasty. I love when I catch a Jack Crevalle. I love when I catch a bluefish. Very tasty, very good. One of those ones where as long as you bleed it within a certain time frame of you catching it, as long as you know it's legal and you're going to keep it, go ahead and bleed it. Cut the gills, bleed it out. It's going to greatly increase the quality of the meat as well as the fillet afterwards. You won't have nearly as much bloodline. Both of those fish are very bloody fish. They have very fishy blood when it comes to taste, so that's something that you guys should definitely think about. But I mean, the first time that I had Jack Crevalle, and it's been a while since I've had it just because I haven't had the opportunity to hook up and do another one, but the first time that I had Jack Crevalle and I cooked it up, it reminded me exactly of tuna. When we cooked it up, I cooked it up into we fried it. We had little nuggets. I mean, it tasted, the consistency, the firmness, the texture, all that tasted like tuna to me. So that's something that you guys should definitely consider when it comes to throwing fish back or using fish as bait. Obviously, I know that Jack Crevalle are very popular when it comes to shark fishing bait, as are bluefish for the same reasons. They're very bloody fish. They're very oily fish. One of the biggest problems that I see a lot of people make when it comes to these quote-unquote trash fish is they will prepare it wrong and they'll cook it wrong. So I see a lot of people, they'll get a bluefish, they'll just throw it right in the cooler, they won't bleed it. They'll get home, they'll fillet it, and then they'll bake it. You don't want to bake a bluefish or a Jack Crevalle. They're very oily fish. So if you do that, if you try to bake it, all that oil is just going to seep right. It's just going to sit there. You don't want to do that. Bluefish, Jack Crevalle, sailfish, or sailfin catfish, stuff like that. That's going to be the kind of fish that you want to, one, bleed immediately. And two, I love it blackened, grilled. Can't go wrong with that. Air fry it. Fry it in, panko breadcrumbs, stuff like that. Kind of do like a crunchy fish tacos kind of deal. Can't go wrong frying food. Can't go wrong blackening fish, grilled fish. That's what shark, one of my favorite ways to prepare shark is, gut it, head, fins, discard, and then steak it up. Marinate it in some teriyaki and grill it up. Some of the best ways that you can make shark, in my opinion. Also, that applies to Jack Crevalle, bluefish. If you guys can think of any other species that you would consider to be trash fish, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll respond and let you guys know how I would prepare it or how I would cook it, and if I have. So, we already kind of went into it a little bit, but the different flavor profiles and cooking styles when it comes to these fish is, you marinating. You can't go wrong marinating a fish, especially like something with shark. You want to try to marinate it. Something that's got a little acidity into it. I've heard balsamic vinaigrette is great to marinate bluefish in because they are so oily, so that'll kind of help pull out some of the oil. Nick says, I'd cook a bluefish if I could actually catch one. You guys are going to have to tune in Thursday to see what he means by that because we had a rough... He had a rough day yesterday. But yeah, marinating it, excellent way to prepare fish. You can change the flavor profile if you don't want to taste any of the fish. You can do something as strong as, a 3-pepper kind of deal, or teriyaki, something spicy, smoky. You can make smoked fish dip out of it, all kinds of stuff. So my two favorite ways to prepare, quote-unquote trash fish is either on the half shell on the grill, get that nice charcoal smoky flavor, or blackened over some red beans and rice. That's typically how I make my bluefish. So you can do all kinds of stuff. You can make stews, tacos, ceviche, anything like that. The acidity in ceviche and tacos and whatnot, that'll help, cover the quote-unquote, fishy taste. Yeah, so Nick says frying fish takes away all the flavor and you only taste the breading and the seasoning. Exactly. So if you fry a fish, especially like that's why catfish nuggets are so popular in the South, because you're not tasting any of the catfish. Catfish have a notoriously fishy taste. You're not tasting any of the fish. You're just tasting the seasoning and the breading. So as long as you get those nailed down, it's basically just the flavoring of whatever seasoning you use in the meat as a delivery and filler, basically. So it's pretty wild. But I mean, I know I saw Hey Skipper Fishing did a video on ribbon fish, and filleted them and curled them up into these little tight like spirals and baked them like that with some seasonings and sesame oil, all kinds of stuff on top of them. It was crazy. I'd never seen anyone prepare ribbon fish like that. But as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's a great idea. That's brilliant. So definitely challenge yourself, change your perception of every fish when it comes to seeing fish as trash fish. Because in my mind, there are no such thing as trash fish. And Victor with Land Shark Outdoors said it perfectly. I heard him say this a long time ago, and it stuck with me ever since. But there's no such thing as trash fish, only trash cooks. And he's the same way when it comes to making things in the kitchen and, you know, preparing fish, preparing dishes. There's no such thing as a trash fish. When it comes to preparing fish, preparing seafood that you've caught, as long as you appropriately prepare it, cook it, marinate it, blacken it, whatever you got to do, it's going to taste great. Now, he's done all kinds of catches and cooks with, you know, the stars of the show, the flounder, the trout, the mangrove snapper, the red snapper, snook, all kinds of stuff. But he also does the other fish too, the fish that no one wants. Big black drum that everyone says, you know, once they get over a certain size, they're gamey and they're gross and he doesn't want to eat them. So it's all kinds of stuff like that. So that's go check out his channel. He does a ton of catch and cooks, and I definitely am going to be trying to do some more catch and cooks when it comes to stuff like that. We were going to do a catch and cook Thursday, or I'm sorry, not Thursday, but we were going to do a catch and cook yesterday, but I forgot my pan. It was getting late in the afternoon, so we ended up just filleting them, vacuum sealing them, and sending them on their way. So definitely keep an eye out for that next time. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. This is going to be a pretty quick episode, pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. I'll even look up real quick, you know, some trash fish. Spanish mackerel is considered trash fish? Huh. But yeah, Spanish mackerel, bluefish, mullet, that's a big one. Everyone says that mullet's terrible, but if you've never had smoked mullet dip, then it's delicious. I loved smoked fish dip in general. It's one of my favorite things to do with any kind of fish that I catch. I'll get, you know, a couple fillets in, and then I'll go ahead and smoke them up. Yeah, Dr. Ned makes an excellent makes an excellent case. He says trash fish don't exist. If you really think about it, they are in reasonable proximity to nosh trash fish, which are basically the same thing. Yeah, exactly. So you can have your bluefin tuna, which is, you know, a delicious delicacy that people make sashimis and sushis with all the time. But a fish that's in reasonable proximity to that is going to be the jack crevalle or the horse-eye jack, and same family, similar meat, same texture, all kinds of stuff. So great point there, Dr. Ned. God, there's a lot of them on here. This is crazy. Let's do a pufferfish catch and cook. Yeah, we can definitely do a pufferfish catch and cook. I've seen Elias V do a pufferfish catch and cook, and he said that it was basically like eating a little chicken wing, little chicken drumstick after he fried it up. And he didn't even put breading on it. He just, I'm pretty sure he fried it whole, pan fried it. He said it was really good. So we can do something like that. But yeah, Nick, let's start knocking some species off of our list and catching and cooking as many as we can. As you guys can see behind me, I got all my awards here from the Catch a Florida Memory Program. If you guys aren't a part of that, definitely check that out. It's a completely free program. This isn't sponsored or anything, but I really like it. It's a completely free program and you get free stuff from it, so check it out. But thank you guys for tuning in this week to the 904 Fishing Podcast. Again, I said this one was going to be kind of quick. If you guys have any ideas or something you'd like to see on future episodes, please leave it down in the comments below. Again, Upload every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we go live. Nick says, how can a predator carnivorous fish be trash? Exactly. Excellent point. Bluefish, very carnivorous fish. Delicious. I mean, we eat redfish for the same reason. We eat shark for the same reason. We eat Spanish mackerel for the same reason, but apparently some people consider that to be trash fish. But tune in next week. I don't know what the topic is going to be next week yet, but I'd give you a hint if I do. I don't. But thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys.